Hey, what's going on, everybody? Justin here at Triumphal Reads, and as I said in the last video, I am so far behind on my booktube staple type videos with my wrap-ups and book hauls and stuff. So in this video, we're going to be doing my March book haul, even though it's the middle of May. I'm just going to feel weird if I skip over it and just go on to the April and May book haul. So I'm a completionist, and I have to do it, even though it's 2 months late. In the month of March, I bought 19 books, so I guess I'm contributing to sort of the consumerism, commercialism of the booktube community, I guess. But, I was sent 2 of them, and 15 of them I bought at a used bookstore in one go, so, it's really only like buying 3 books, kind of, right? It's like buying the 2 that I bought and then 15 at one used bookstore. It's I guess that didn't really make sense. But anyways, 15 of them I got for a really good deal. I think it averaged for $2 or $3 a book, something like that. Plus 2 I'm super excited for. Hint, spoiler. It's gonna be something like that. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, let's just get right into it, I guess, because there's so many. So yeah, let's start with the 2 I got in the mail. I got Overrun Dispatches from the Asian Cart Crisis by Andrew Reeves. I did a book review of this. Maybe I'll put the card things up if I'm feeling not lazy, basically, when I edit. But anyways, this is all about, in the Midwest, basically carp taking over everything. It's an invasive species that was brought in the 60s and 70s for aquaculture use, basically to eat the weeds and kind of overgrowing vegetation in ponds and the river systems and stuff. But the carp species got out of control, and they basically outcompete, even though they're herbivores, they basically outcompete pretty much everything else in the river, especially the Mississippi River system. But anyway, so this is a journalistic investigation of the entire history of carp in the United States. So I thought that one was actually pretty cool. Actually, where am I going to put these? Because I got my little bench full already. The next one is JFK, The Last Speech. And this was an interesting book. Basically, Amherst College was the last, was the location of John F. President Kennedy's last public speech, and at a Robert Frost Memorial Library dedication or groundbreaking. And for that, the senior class of 1963 at Amherst College, well, I guess it would be 64 when they graduated, for their 50th anniversary class reunion, the alumni got together and came up with a project, this project idea, basically going over their recollections of the event, sort of what they took away from learning from Robert Frost, who taught at Amherst College, and also some life lessons from John F. Kennedy from speaking there, things like that. They're, a lot of them joined the Peace Corps. A lot of them became successful businessmen or entrepreneurs, things like that. And it's kind of just their recollections and everything that was kind of going on since that time. And it's kind of just an interesting mashup of ideas and concepts going on, just tons of little essays and vignettes. So it is kind of cool if you like that sort of thing. If you enjoy John F. Kennedy or Robert Frost, you should definitely check this book out. All right, and then for the 2 books that I actually bought not at the used bookstore, Galaxy in Flames, The Heresy Revealed by Ben Counter. Yes, which is the 3rd book in the Horus Heresy series, which is a 54-book sci-fi epic science fantasy series that I'm reading. Basically, it's the prequel to Warhammer 40k. And the other one that I bought is book 9 in the Horus Heresy, Mechanicum. And basically, I skipped ahead and read this one because I thought the cover was just super cool with that tech priest. This is sort of about the whole thing is about the Imperium of Man's civil war throughout the galaxy. Mechanicum in particular is about kind of the strife on Mars and which side Mars is going to join in the Civil War, sort of on Mars, because of that. And then Galaxy in Flames is the 3rd book. It's the final book in the first trilogy arc, I guess. The first 3 books kind of go together and follow the same story to the first basically big event that starts the entire Civil War off officially. So those are pretty cool. All right, next up, we went to the used bookstore that's about an hour away, and we got a bunch of books, basically. I did a vlog, but I totally forgot I did the vlog, and we didn't even like talk about like what books we actually bought. So like in the vlog, we have like half the books that are not like ones we bought and stuff, and we put a bunch back and picked up different ones and everything. But anyways, these are the 15 books that I bought. This one I'm really excited for. It's Here Today, Portraits of Our Vanishing Species. I just thought this was a really cool steal, to be honest. But it's by Susan Middleton and David Lichtschwager. And what they did was photograph a bunch of endangered and nearly extinct species, especially in black and white. And I just thought it was really cool. And it's from like 1991. So it's going to be interesting actually to see if any of the, 1991, see if any of these species have actually gone extinct from the time that they created this sort of portrait book, which I think, I don't know, I just love animals and stuff. So I thought it was a really cool book idea, even though it's probably gonna be sad to like kind of research some of them and see if they're actually still around or not. But I had to kind of put it sideways because it's too big for my shelves by like half an inch. But that's okay. I'll find a spot for it. All right, next up, I bought 7 Conan books, like the later stuff, like the Tor. I don't know what you call them. Like they're not reprints. They're just, what do you call that when you like have like a universe and you like right after like the original author like dies and stuff. I think there's a term for it. But basically there's 7 Conan books, the later stuff, and all tons of different authors. Kind of goes with, I got like 4 or 5 over there as well. So I'm going to try and collect all the Conan stuff. I've read all the original Robert E. Howard Conan stuff. And it's kind of like a guilty pleasure of mine. So I do want to try and collect all like the Conan novels that there are. We got Conan of the Red Brotherhood by Leonard Carpenter. Blood and Plunder on the High Seas. So there's that one. Conan and the Treasure of Python. Okay, I guess that one doesn't have like an actual subtitle, but there's that one. That one's by John Maddox Roberts. Conan the Outcast by Leonard Carpenter. And it's Who Can Stand When the Old Gods Return. And I like kind of like the 70s and 80s, like, totally pulp like covers and stuff. Conan and the Gods of the Mountain by Roland Green. Is this one? Conan and the Manhunters by John Maddox Roberts, which has like the weirdest cover like ever. It's like this weird alien thing. Pretty psycho. Let's Google. Conan and the Amazon, It Was Love at First Fight by John Maddox Roberts. And Conan the Savage by Leonard Carpenter. Even demons must beware the vengeance of Conan. With his like legit just like stone club thing. Literally a stick and a boulder on top of it. But I got all those for like, I think most of them are like $2 each or something like that. $2.25. Yeah, $2.50 too. So I thought those were kind of a cool like little steal just for like all of them. I just thought those were just like an interesting little find. All right, next up, I was actually on the lookout for Warhammer books, especially the 30K ones. But the only one I found was Horus Rising, which is the first book in the Horus Heresy. But I already had it, so obviously I didn't buy it. I tried to convince Tim to buy it, but he didn't, so, because he's like the Ivory Tower reader. No, I'm just kidding. But anyways, I did find 2 Warhammer books, though this is like Warhammer Fantasy, I believe, and it's Knight of the Realm, or I guess Knight Errant and Knight of the Realm, by Anthony Reynolds. And I guess Bretonia is like a kingdom in Warhammer Fantasy or something. I don't really know anything about Warhammer Fantasy, but I picked them up because it was Warhammer, and I've been enjoying the Horus Heresy series, even though I know it's like a completely different like sub-universe or something in like the Warhammer stuff. But I picked those ones up anyways. Next up, actually this one's pretty interesting, is just J.R.R. Tolkien's The Return of the King. Obviously the 3rd book in the Lord of the Rings. But the reason we picked them up, or picked this one up, is we each got the exact same copy. I found them and I thought they were just like, I just love the vintage like covers there of The Return of the King, like just the covers that are on it. I don't even think they're like that old. If I remember, I think they're from like I guess 65, so it is pretty. Well, actually, no, 68. Okay, so yeah, okay, so 68. So it's not. Well, actually, yeah, that's pretty early for The Return of the King. But anyways, I just thought like the covers were like so unique and quirky and cool. We each got one, and they were each, as you can see from the price here, $1. So we each spent $1 getting the exact same copy of Return of the King. I thought that was just really cool. Just I don't know, just like to collect it. Even though I already had he probably has like 10 copies of like Lord of the Rings and stuff. I have like one, but anyways, I just thought they were cool, so that's why I picked that one up. Now we have 4 hardcovers. First one here is Emperor of Thorns by Mark Lawrence. I know this is like the 3rd book in a series that Broken Empire, that Mark Lawrence wrote, and the first one obviously is Prince of Thorns, and there's King of Thorns. I heard he's like a really good grimdark author, kind of like Joe Abercrombie. Don't have the first 2, but I thought it was a really good deal for the dust jacket with the hardcover. So I was like, I don't want to pass it up if I'm eventually going to read it, because I do kind of like the darker fantasy stuff. So that's why I picked that one up, even though I don't have the first 2. So I'll be on the lookout for Prince of Thorns, especially. For a World War I book, he actually had quite a few World War I books, but they were all like kind of like new books, even though it was a used bookstore, so they were a little bit more. Still like good deals, but I didn't want to end up picking up basically all new books at the used bookstore. But I went with 5 Lieutenants, because I had never actually heard of this one. The Heartbreaking Story of 5 Harvard Men Who Led America to Victory in World War I by James Carl Nelson. And I have absolutely no idea what this one's about, which is actually kind of why I picked it, to be honest. But I guess it's a bunch of like graduates of Harvard who like volunteered in World War I assume I don't know if it was for the American Expeditionary Force or even before. I'm not quite sure, because it says 17, but if it was like, if they graduated like in 17, that would be a little bit before America joined the war. So I'm not exactly sure what the story is behind them. But I just thought it was a kind of a cool story that I mean, just the concept, I guess, I had never heard of, and like I said, I don't really know exactly what it's going to be. So I'm looking forward to that, because I do enjoy reading about World War I history, basically. So there's that. Now, the last 2 books, they go together, and I'm super excited. I don't know how I like almost missed them. But as you can see, I have my Folio Society shelf here. I found 2 Folio Society books together. Thomas Hodgkin's The Barbarian Invasions of the Roman Empire. We got Volume 1 and Volume 2. So Volume 1 is The Visigothic Invasion, and the second one is The Huns and the Vandals. This is actually part of an 8-book series, basically dealing with each, like, Germanic or barbarian group, such as the Huns, that invaded, the Roman Empire. It's obviously really dated. This is like around the turn of the century, I believe. But first, let me show you the slipcases are really cool, first of all. But then each cover has like a different like wood print on it, which is just really, 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 really cool. Presumably this is from like Alaric's sack of Rome in 410, but that actually wasn't that brutal as far as sackings go. I mean, I guess there's no like good like sack of a city, but as far as sackings go, it was pretty lenient. It was basically we're gonna do it for 3 days. If you go in the churches or anything, because they were already, I think they were Arian Christians at the time. The Visigoths were. They basically said, we're not gonna harm you guys. Blah 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 blah. Rome itself was already not. It wasn't even the capital of the Western Roman Empire at the time. It was. I can't remember if it was Milan or Ravenna at the time in 410. But anyways, Rome had already kind of had its heyday at the point. And then the second one for the Huns and the Vandals, we obviously have like Attila there or something, obviously like very kind of inspired, like from like, I'm not sure when that print would be. But anyways, they were originally published in the late 1800s, so 1880s to like 1892. Okay, so this was originally published 1880, second edition of this volume in 1892. But the illustration, Attila the Hun invades northern Italy in 452 from Stephanes. Storia d'Italia, 1885. Like I said, these are obviously going to be really dated, but I just love Roman history, and these ones are just really beautiful copies. Police Society makes great books. There are a few plates as well in these ones, so I am looking forward to it. I probably will read these ones, like I said, even though they're probably dated, just to see kind of almost how dated, and things have changed basically in the past like 140, 150 years, in our interpretations, you know, of the quote-unquote fall of the Roman Empire, especially in the West. So it would definitely be an interesting look. So I'll definitely be on the lookout for volumes 3 through 8 as well. So those are the 19 books that I picked up in the month of March. Tell me what you guys thought about any of them, what your favorites are. If you can remember what your favorite book that you picked up in March is, leave a comment down below. I'd definitely be glad to talk to you about what you guys have been picking up and reading in the past couple months. Definitely leave some comments. But yeah, so hopefully coming soon will be my April wrap up and my April book haul, so I can get on track and actually caught up on everything. But even though we're in the month of May and this was sort of my March book haul, whatever you guys end up reading in the month of May, always remember, read victoriously.